I decided to dive in videos on YouTube about living in Norway, and what I found was quite interesting. In the next 15 minutes, I will give you a summary of everything I saw, debunk most popular opinions, and at the end, I will name important pros and cons as of 2025 that nobody talked about yet. So stick with me, I promise you're in for a valuable info. After a deep dive in the most popular pros and cons, I came up with two big lists. Here I got 11 most popular pros. Let's see if you already know some of them.
This amazing nature right in your backyard.
The first three being beautiful nature, laid-back culture, and personal space. All of this we can check out. Next on will be great higher education. I will argue about great, but it's still accessible. You can take a study loan with very little interest that you can reduce if you pass all the exams from first try. Gender equality and low discrimination level. Yes, a lot of cases has been won about discrimination when people didn't get hired for a job, for example. Strong economy, as strong as it can get in our crazy time. Salaries are high. Technically, yes, it's higher than in other European countries, but the cost of living is also pretty high. People are respectful towards each other. Yes, even though older generations still complain that younger people are not as respectful as it used to be before. Food quality. Yes, Norway banned a lot of chemicals that are added in the food in other countries. Everyone speaks English. Generally, yes, clean streets and great culture of recycling. Yes, you won't see trash on the streets, and you have at least 4 trash bins in each household.
And as we were walking out, a man came and tried to steal our food.
Now let's see if I can debunk some of the popular opinions as a foreigner. Great welfare benefits. It's true, if you lose your job or go on parental leave or get sick, Norway is one of the countries who gives money you can actually live off. But to get all benefits now in 2025, you need to live in Norway for at least 3 years and work, of course. On average is 3 years. Some benefits you can get after 1 year, and for some it's up to 5 years. Free medicine. Yes and no, there is a yearly limit. So if you spend more than $250 a year on doctors, after that all appointments will be free. But when it comes to preventive medicine and treating chronic illnesses, the system is very slow and ineffective. You need to wait for appointments sometimes half a year. So in most cases, it's better to go to private doctors if you want the results. Safe country. Yes, Norway is still safe in 2025 compared to other countries. The crime rate is low, but mostly because not so many people live in the country, so it's kind of normal proportional rate. But can we lose this tale about people not locking their houses or any other stuff? You're not gonna get pickpocketed on streets like in Spain, but you have to lock your stuff, especially in Oslo. So many bicycles get stolen every day, it's crazy. People try to get into your backyard to see if they can take something. If you go to the gym, lock your stuff, because people be stealing your stinky shoes, and talking out of experience here. You don't really need to learn Norwegian when you live in Norway. Yes and no. Basic living and getting around as a tourist, yes, you don't need Norwegian. But if you want to get a job or study, it can be quite problematic to do it without Norwegian language. And if you're outside of European Union and want to get permanent residence or citizenship in future, you will need to pass Norwegian language test, at least on level B1. Public transport is great. In this case, we are debunking the idea that you can get everywhere by public transport and you don't need a car. This is only true in the big cities. In Oslo, the transport is really great. Clean, on time, goes often. But if you live outside of city on countryside without a car, it's a bus once an hour in best case. Usually on Sundays there are no buses, and if you watched some of the other videos about Norway or live here, there's one more huge con related to public transport in Norway. I'll talk about it in a minute.
And you say, oh, I'm gonna go grab a bottle of wine. No.
Now to the most popular cons about Norway. Let's see if you can guess some. Number 1 is weather. Yes, that tops the cake. It's freezing cold and depressing, especially in overlapping seasons, snow, rain, and it's very short daylight for 5 months a year. This actually became the reason why I moved from Norway. After 10 years, you're honestly getting tired of the scenery. And as good as all the pros are, I feel much better with a little bit more sun. Norway is expensive. Yes, I can only say for Oslo because I live there, but the high cost of living is real. As a single mom with 3 kids back then, all my monthly expenses for decent living were around $4,500. That's without saving up for vacations, buying expensive clothes, or going out. Just food, rent, bills, and kids' activities. So yes, with this net income, your gross income before tax should be around $9,000 a month. Because of the next con, taxes in Norway are high. Norway have progressive taxation systems, so more you earn, the more taxes you need to pay. Sometimes it's up to 50-55%, and Norway also have a wealth tax. Making new friends is tough. That's a check. In 10 years of living in Norway, I can count the Norwegian friends I made on one hand, and it's mostly Norwegians who studied or travel abroad for some time. Expensive public transport. A 1-hour ticket to get around Oslo will cost you $4. A monthly card starting from $85 for one zone, and the farther you travel, the more you need to pay. Trains, domestic flights, buses across the country are insanely priced. Flying from Norway to another countries is also much cheaper if you fly from neighborhood countries, for example, Denmark or Sweden. Slow postal services and no Amazon. I think honestly that no Amazon in Norway is blessing, less consumerism, but about postal services, yes, like in every country, it's slow. You need to wait minimum week if you order something with delivery. So you need to really plan ahead if you want to buy something. Norwegian food is bland. Yes, Norwegian don't do spices, and Norwegian cuisine is like a comfort food. When you think about Norwegian food, it's mostly fish soup, fish sticks, boiled potatoes, some meatballs, and salmon. Though salmon is great in Norway, speed limits are low. Yes, if you drive a car, it can annoy the shit out of you because the national speed limit in Norway is 80 kilometers per hour.
Waffles, Norwegian waffles are nothing like American waffles.
My personal top pros and cons after living in Norway for 10 years come down to a few important things. My personal favorite is that people don't show off when they make good money. Norwegians are very close to nature and like doing things themselves, even if they can afford to pay someone else to do the job. Here I talk mostly about generation me, so millennials and older. Gen Z, or whatever it calls, after mighty millennials, love to show off by custom.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I saw very wealthy people mowing their grass, fixing their garden, cleaning their snow. Let's include here the pace of living. Every time I land in Oslo and I step out of the airplane, I just breathe out. I get this calm vibe and peace inside, and life just slows back down. What also gives me peace and calm, if you tickle that like button under the video, so I know we both like each other. So pro number 2 for me is free hospitals and amazing free care when you're giving birth in Norway. That is my area of expertise. I have given birth in Norway 3 times. Can't complain, especially after giving birth first time in Russia for free. And I've tested the emergency rooms because I have 3 boys, so it's kind of custom, and everyone is still alive, so emergency services works great, guys. The next pro is great support for people with disabilities. I can talk mostly about Oslo because I live there, and from what I've seen, this city is absolutely equipped for the needs of disabled people. Not to mention that there is big government support, so kids and adults get compensation for care, personal assistance paid by the state, and access to special schools. The pro number 4 will be embracing the culture of upcycling, DIY, and getting secondhand things. Norway is miljøvennlig. Learn this word, it's one of Norway's favorite. Eco-friendly practices are everywhere. You can get stuff for free from Finn.no, which is like eBay in Norway. And there's a lot of secondhand stores where you can buy brand clothes for pennies. And people organize many markets in schools and neighborhoods to exchange stuff for free or sell it for very cheap money. The 5th pro will be quality of clothes. The best rain and winter clothes I've ever seen. Very smartly designed, especially for kids. You can find everything you need in different designs. Just look at the brand called Naken. It's the brand for kids. Leave it here. The last pro, and it makes me cry silently every time I'm not in Norway, is the best quality of water. The water in Norway is tasty out of your spring, and this is a big privilege. Even bottled water is great. Now I live in Spain and I'm gagging every time I need to drink bottled water. But I made my choice, so I need to live with these consequences. Now for the cons. All of them are my subjective opinions, and the last one may be very controversial, but I cannot help myself. So my biggest personal con as a woman is that when it comes to services, it's still in the medieval age. I don't know why, but Norwegians are not demanding when it comes to taking care of themselves. The quality of services you get in Norway is very low and nobody complains. Maybe that's why it's low, because nobody complains. I don't know. Even if you find a good specialist in the end, prices will bite you in the ass. Cosmetologist, hairdresser, dentist, nail technician, lashes and brows, massages of any kind, waxing, gym membership. You can go broke in no time. The second big con is crazy import taxes if you want to order something from outside of Norway. There are companies registered in a special list for businesses that don't need to pay import taxes, so you always need to check before you order something. Otherwise, you can end up in a situation like me when I came to pick up my package in postal office and I had to pay $70 in taxes for the order of $30. Next big con is quality of general medicine and dentistry. If you have chronic illness or need a checkup, it will take a very long time to get appointment if you don't go to private clinic. Dentistry is also bad and expensive. It's just disappointing that 17% of your income goes to national insurance on top of your tax, and in the end, when you need to use this free medicine, you have to wait half a year to see the specialist. And the last con that I will be probably butchered in comments for is that education for kids in Norway, especially talented kids, is on a very, very low level, to put it nicely. Schools in Norway prioritize equality. Because of this approach, talented and gifted kids don't get the support they need to develop their potential. The main goal of education in Norway is to ensure that kids who struggle get extra help. While this is important, this principle results in a level of schooling that is much lower than in other developed countries. I'm not saying that super competitive system is better, but there needs to be a balance. In Norway, if your child has talent for sports, mathematics, arts, music, you have to organize everything yourself with private teachers. There are no opportunities for advanced specialized program for kids.